range. Oh, my goodness. In your life, have you seen anything like that?
They're going to go nuts when he hits this thing. And now it comes down to one putt for the win. Is it his time?
All right. We are back. It's Cam and JL at the Pitchmark Collective. Thank you, listeners, for tuning in. If you could, go give us a like, subscribe, follow, whatever button they have on Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify. Justin, how we doing, pal?
Man, it's a beautiful summer day. Starting to finally cool down in my area, so golf is a beautiful thing after work, and that is what I'm gonna go do right after this.
Yeah, that must be nice.
Yeah.
To remind everybody, Justin's in Bend, Oregon. Apparently, it gets really hot there. But Justin lives on the golf course. Don't let him fool you. He plays the most golf out of anybody at the Pitchmark Collective currently. So, what are you doing tonight?
Cam, I actually live on a golf course. I just refuse to play the actual golf course.
Sure.
Because the golf course absolutely sucks.
Are you playing tonight, or is it a daughter event? I forget.
So they're out playing right now. They're playing a practice round. They've got sectional qualifier. They've got a play day tomorrow, and then the sectional qualifier on Friday. So her and her scramble partner are out playing 18 holes right now. So I'm gonna try and catch up on I can probably play the last 3 or 4 holes with them. So kind of hoping I can swing some clubs out there. So
gotcha.
I've got to figure out a way to get onto the golf course in the next few days too, because we've got our club championship on Saturday and Sunday at the course that I play at.
You better get everything fine tuned. Figure out your putting stroke there, pal.
I don't think it's honestly my stroke, and I've said this the last few times. It's reading the putts correctly, and I mean I'm gonna give Teddy a ton of credit because I think the best I've ever putted is when I take his advice and I just don't really think about it, and I'm quote unquote athletic, right? I think once you get into that mindset, you're I'm just gonna go hit this putt, and I'm not gonna overthink it, and I'm not gonna because putting is such a you can overthink putting and over deliberate on it and go through all these processes and just mind melt yourself.
Yeah.
So I think just
all it boils down to is, okay, what's the speed on the read that I need to hit? And that's it. All this aim point stuff, some people just do too much, myself included. Simplifying putting for me is literally just okay, I'm going to mark my ball, I'm going to clean it, and then I'm not going to line it up with the line on the ball. I'm just going to set it back down. I'm going to read the putt. I'm going to try and hit it on the right speed.
Yeah. And on it, I will argue against the aim point thing. I almost think aim point's simpler than anything else.
No.
Yeah, dude, you're walking up there, you're feeling with your feet, you're not taking any eyes at it, and you're okay, I think that's 3 degrees, and you're hitting the putt.
You're talking about degrees and calling it simple.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I get it, to each their own, right? But for me, I'm if I could figure out how to do that, the consistency. I've watched people do it where it's dude, that's improved your putting a lot. It's crazy. When we played in that member guest earlier this summer, there was a guy, he did it every single time, and it was his cheat code. And he even said it to me in that way. He's once I figured out how to do this and I was super consistent with it, my putting improved dramatically.
I'm out. Count me out.
So actually, that'd be funny to hear from listeners. How bad is aim point? Does everyone that listens hate aim point, or is it something that we should all give a shot to?
Yeah. Let us know, listeners. Are you team aim point, or are you against it? Why? Give us reasoning too. Totally. You may notice we are missing our third wheel here, Teddy. He may join us in a little bit here. He's on his way home, but we decided to get started without him per his agreement. So today we're going to talk kind of recap the Wyndham Championship and all the exciting stuff that happened with Matt Kuchar just refusing to finish out on a Sunday night with like 2 shots left typically. Kind of funny. Then we're going to get into the FedEx Cup playoffs because we're at the first event here this week, the FedEx St. Jude Championship at TPC Southwind. Top 70 got in FedEx points. So let's get into the Wyndham. I didn't watch much of this, but when I saw that Kuchar was like, "Yeah, I'm just not gonna play," I thought, why wouldn't you just finish, right? Now the guy's made $60 million in his career on the PGA Tour. He's a well-known guy. People know Matt Kuchar.
Yeah.
What could have possibly gone through his head to say, you know what, everyone else is finishing through in my group. I'm not going to do this. I know it was a long day. Like, I think some people early in the morning were still finishing their second round on Sunday.
So
most people played 36, right? I think everybody played 36 for their third and fourth.
It was an absolute disaster from the beginning. I mean, they didn't start the first round until what, Friday?
Mm-hmm.
Like all day Thursday it was delayed. Then it got delayed Friday morning. I mean, trying to keep up with the coverage on TV was hard enough. That's one thing that I struggle when it's delayed and you're trying to catch up with it. So I did watch like the evening recaps and stuff like that. And there was some,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was some good golf being played. It was fun to see like my pick, Billy Horschel, like first day, second day, I was like, this is money. And then obviously seeing Teddy's pick up there, like start making some moves was tough.
Right.
I thought Cooch, because from the beginning he was playing pretty tough. I thought it was like, damn, he's gonna come out and win another tournament. But like, there's he's arguing that he did it for Graceman. Greisman. That's how you say his name, right?
I think it's
Greiserman.
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 Yeah.
He argued on an article I read that I'm trying to prove to a younger player that you didn't have to play. And it's like, well, he finished. Like the guy that you're trying to make a point to finished.
Mm-hmm.
Now the other thing that was argued, it was I mean, that putt I think was worth like 50 grand, if I recall.
Yeah, he had to make if he made par, it was like 129K compared to
Yeah.
like 60 or 70K of what he'd be paid.
I mean,
well, I get it from that standpoint, especially when you have a caddy that you have to pay, right? That's a big difference for somebody who's been carrying your bag all week and for the whole season.
So it's like, I mean, I could see that. And he did say that, you know, I think he made a quad or something like that. And he was like, we should have stopped playing on the 16th instead of getting it to this far. But I don't know. Do you listen to or follow Country Club Collective on Instagram at all?
I don't. Not that I recall.
It's a good follow. It's I think the guy who posts on it, like, I don't know exactly what he does. Like, I'm maybe a swing coach of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
But he's got some ins with tour players, and he makes some interesting posts. But literally on, I think it was like Wednesday or Thursday, he was like, he saw Cooch in the lead, and so he started, because everyone that saw Cooch in the lead were like, oh, this guy, you know, because what followed him from Mexico, right? When he didn't pay out the local as much as everyone thought he should have after winning the tournament.
Right.
You know, they start going off on him about how he's like just cheap, but that's followed him, right? So his entire post was golfers can make a huge impact, not just golfing, but like brand wise. So he brought up like Bryson, right? He's like, if Cooch, and he even said something about Lucas Glover, which I don't remember the stories on Lucas Glover and why he kind of went down this like bad path, like where fans didn't like him. But I know the Cooch side of it. He was like, if golfers actually just put, you know, some money into it and they didn't think about it as like, oh, good golf cures all. It's no, my brand cures all type thing. then we wouldn't even be in this position where 5 years later, people are still talking about Cooch being the cheapest person in the world and, he's a jerk and all that kind of stuff.
See, but that also that shows too, like, from we're outsiders, or we're not on the PGA Tour. We've never had a conversation with Matt Kuchar. He seems like throughout the players one of the most likable guys. Like outside of the media and fans talking about how cheap he is, right? Because of that caddy incident.
Yeah.
Like there's been no other incidents where it's like, yeah, Kuchar's an ass. Like he's probably an extremely, extremely nice guy. And he probably doesn't, at this point, he's been on tour 20 plus years. He probably doesn't care about his brand. Matt Kuchar's not going to move the needle for golf. He's just not.
No one ever talks about his like charitable contributions as well. So
right, and that just shows how much one little incident can taint the view of many on you, right?
Totally.
It's kind of ridiculous if you ask me.
Yeah. So everyone even everyone listening here. I mean, I'm going to go out on a limb and say 90% of the people are going like, "Oh, Cooch, you're such a dick," blah 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 blah, all this stuff, and it's like, well, half of us are saying that because it's him who we think are cheap, who didn't pay his caddy, etc. But if Scotty Scheffler was on that last hole and decided to mark, does that change your outlook? Like
it 100% does. I'm sure
that's what I'm saying.
Like, what are you doing, Scotty? But then they're going to be like, well, he's the number one player in the world, and he wants to keep that rank.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Did you see the two shots two shots that he hit?
No, they
or three shots that he hit.
They weren't even televised.
Yeah, so I saw him. He flared out his approach shot to the right into the rough, and then he almost holed the chip shot for it lipped out for birdie.
Oh wow!
He made it really nice up and down for par.
Yeah,
but everyone's just so focused on painting him as this big old a-hole, and like, don't get me wrong, he probably displaced. I'd say displaced, but a lot of people had to go out of their way for 3 shots of golf. Volunteers, the tournament, workers, directors, the tour, all of them. They're like, we really got to come back out here. And, he was grinding on the range right before. I don't know, grinding. Maybe he was out there for 20 minutes. I don't know. Like, Don't get me wrong. He probably caused, quite a lot of disruption for quite a bit of people. But it's like, I don't think it's as big of a deal as people are making it out. I wouldn't have done it, right? I'd be like, yeah, dude, like, let's just go hit these next 2 shots, ideally, right? You make birdie. But I'm also not playing for a difference.
You're not playing for your rent and mortgage,
Yeah.
But I mean, Trevor.
I mean, at this point, neither is Kuchar, right? If you came out and said, listen, I mean, the difference in payout means a lot to my caddy, then I'd be like, yeah, cool.
Why didn't he just say that, though?
That's saying it's like trying to set an example for a young golfer. I mean, Max Rieselman's almost 30, first of all.
Yeah.
He's not even that young. He just took forever to get up on tour and make a name for himself.
Yeah. I thought the post on X was actually pretty funny from Trevor Immelman. He's all, gotta say, it must have been a great par after the drive. And Brian Reed, who's Cooch's caddy, had this whole long post. It was pretty funny. It was worth the wait. If we finished, you would have been back to call Monday morning. You'd have needed an official, and that would have taken at least 5 minutes. We didn't have. We figured Max was going to stop, and we did not know that Ray made birdie. Ray made birdie. So, I mean, I guess he kind of defends it, but also kind of says like, oh, they're still trying to go down to the max. Like we were doing it for Max type thing, which is funny.
That doesn't make sense, especially after Max Rieselman made N8.
Yeah, totally.
He's out of it. Yeah. He's out of it. I mean,
he made a quad.
Aaron Rai wasn't making a big mistake. He played super solid all week. Like, what are y'all doing? Come on, just play the whole, Cooch. I get it, both sides. I don't think the uproar is as much as it needs to be, or isn't as deserved as much. But true. I mean, he also, the reasoning why he said for grief, like, that's stupid. What are you talking about, Coocher?
Yeah. I mean, Aaron Rai played well though. He played some good golf. he's
Yeah,
kind of an
65, 65, 68, 64. So 500 par, 500 par, 200 par, 600 par. Like, you shoot 64 on Sunday, you deserve to win. Like, come on.
totally. I mean, but he's an interesting guy, man. Like, I think I mentioned this before. Like when I was down at the Arnold Palmer, I actually followed him. It was him and I think Nick Lashley, and it was like my first kind of experience running into
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Rye. But I thought it was so interesting because one, iron covers, right? Which everyone always talks about the iron covers and the double gloves.
Yeah.
Um, but at this event, he was also wearing sun sleeves. So it's like, dude just went in and bought the most accessories he could find out of the pro shop. He also had a small bag at that point, which was I thought was kind of interesting because it's like,
Yeah.
don't you take on the staff bag to, you know, show some sponsors love and stuff like that? I don't know. Kind of interesting dude. I like the story. I love the point of him using iron covers for to protect his clubs because they were like the most valuable thing that he had, and his dad
Mm-hmm.
kind of instilled that in him. Um, there's a kid that my daughter plays with that actually has iron covers, and it brought up a funny story. Have you ever looked at iron covers like anywhere outside of the United States?
No. I mean, I've
'Cause-
seen them on bags and stuff before here.
But they're kind of ridiculed here, right? Like
Oh, yeah.
it's like, oh, we just rip on them. Where in like Asia, it is a whole like trend. Like
Right.
if you ever like if you find some of the websites that sell the really high end, dude, it's like going to buy like a Louis bag or Gucci,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. Like it's leather, hand stitched. I mean,
It's
it's part of
status.
it's
Status
yeah,
over there.
it's part of the whole ensemble, and it's expensive as hell to get some of those iron covers.
Yeah. I mean, I'm at risk to lose a head cover at any point in time during a round, so I don't need to add more to my bag.
Even a Cameron one.
Yeah, I mean, I think twice this year I've had to go back for my driver cover. Because, like, I put it on the bag and then I just put the club in and just go. And I don't, that one hole, of course, the hole I forget about it is the hole that it falls off the cart or whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Outside
I
of
like Aaron Rice's story. It's like you said, it's kind of like a heartwarming thing that he keeps him on to remember where he came from. You know, because he said in interviews like, we get whatever clubs we want from the sponsors that we with. Like, I don't need to do this,
yeah,
but it's a good reminder to keep me in check and keep me just leveled out to remember where I came from. So yeah, I'm totally fine with that. I read that the two gloves thing is because he has some circulation issues, so he wears two gloves to keep both hands warm and keep the blood moving.
oh, interesting. I
Mm-hmm.
haven't seen that. Um I had read something where it said he tried to play with only one glove and played horrible that day and started wearing
It's
two
just like
gloves again
never
and
again.
never went back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be that
So,
too, but I'm pretty confident that there is some circulation to his like toes and fingers. So he wears the two gloves to keep whatever that
interesting.
does for circulation.
Yeah, keep a little bit more
Mm-hmm.
warmth, I guess.
Yeah,
Outside of the winter and outside of, all the attention Kuchar's getting, I mean, did you see Luke Clanton again?
yeah, he's gonna be a force to reckon. I mean, the kid's still in college. He's a force to be reckoned with. Like, he's played well in the tournaments that he's shown up at for the PGA Tour and that he's made it into. It's
Yeah, I
crazy.
mean, top five, 14 under. I mean, he stumbled a little bit, I guess, on round four, but I mean, also round four, he had to play round three and round four and some of round two all on Sunday, to like finish it all up. But I
Mm-hmm.
mean, he's playing some golf right now, and he's played 6 events this year, which I think I think that's awesome. So we
Yeah.
talked a little bit about him. Um, I think maybe it was after the John Deere or something. He missed the cut at the 3M Open, but
Mm-hmm.
he's got US Open tied for 41st, Rocket Mortgage tied 10th, John Deere tied for second. Then he goes into ISCO 37th, misses a cut, and then goes to Wyndham and gets fifth. Like, some people want to have a career as good as that,
Yeah,
This
I
guy's like,
think.
oh yeah, I'm going to the USAM after this.
Yeah, he went right there after, and now he's playing.
Yeah,
I haven't checked to see how that's going for players, but I mean, listen to his front nine on round 3. Uh, par, birdie, birdie, a 2 on a 4, so eagle on a par 4, bogey, eagles the par 5, par, bogey. Like,
yeah,
to be 4 under par going in round 3, like after your first 9 holes on round 3, he then goes 4 under par on the back 9 with a clean back 9, 4 birdies, no bogeys. I mean, he's got composure, right?
for sure.
He put himself in a position to win. He just couldn't duplicate that because it was probably 1,000 degrees at the Wyndham Championship, and he got a 30-minute break, and then he's just walking 18 again, playing another 18 holes.
Yeah, I think they said that, and maybe it was a joke, I don't know, but they said he was literally eating Panda Express in a to-go box on
Like
one of the
walking down the
turns
fairway.
because he had
Yeah.
10 minutes, so
Yeah.
he was like, I just need to get some food in me right now.
He went bogey to finish too, right?
But
So
again, that was
even if he makes par there, now he's tied for second.
that's his 38th and 39th hole of the day.
Yeah.
The day.
So he had to play some around too.
Yeah, I think if I looked at it right, he had to play like 2 or 3 holes of round 2 on Sunday because he was one of the last groups.
Yeah.
To tee off on Saturday. So.
Oh boy.
Oh, here we go.
He is here. He can't talk right now because he's not added to the stage here. So let's talk about Teddy a little bit. Let's talk a little smack. Teddy. Here he is, Teddy. How you doing?
Oh, hey guys. Hey.
The champ.
How's it going?
So Teddy, we're good. How are you?
Feeling good. Feeling good.
Great. Teddy, to catch you up, we were just talking about Luke Clanton and his kind of
phenomenal run going on.
Yeah, as an amateur in the, what did we say, 6 events that he started. Top 5 here, solo 5th at the Wyndham. We were just talking about
like
also
262s and like he's just going berserk.
Yeah.
And he has no want or desire to leave college either.
Can kind of understand that.
I mean, he's at Florida State. It's probably a very highly desirable place to be when you're a young 20-something. We'll call him an athlete, right?
That's also now getting notoriety. Yeah, I'd probably stay and not feel creepy for as long as possible.
Yeah. I mean, there's probably, Gordon Sargent's the same thing, right? Like he probably could have made the jump, and they're both at schools that are going to be competing for national championships in golf, right? So it's a little different than your run-of-the-mill football, programs. Like these guys are clearly going to be playing golf for the rest of their life, right?
Yeah, and I feel like it's kind of changed a little more recently with the addition of like Live as well, where guys might not feel like they have to turn pro and strike while the iron's hot. They can kind of take their time.
You could go on a 12-year, drug binge and just get a nice little free agent contract from Live at this point.
Are you saying that's an option?
I'm not saying that's what's happening.
Where was that like 12 years ago?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think these guys can just they can add these tournaments, when they get these sponsors exemptions and, get the experience and not feel like they need to go ahead and collect that check, turn pro, maybe when they don't feel necessarily ready to move on to that, stage of their life. So yeah, if you can afford to just kind of wait and enjoy, your college years while you can, they might as well go ahead and do that.
There's got to be some, for a college student in general, there's got to be some nice NIL income coming in too, right? With these guys.
Yeah, I'm not too sure, how big of a deal it is for golf. Most of the top amateurs, starting out as juniors, they are collecting, some sort of monetary compensation, whether it be with equipment,
Mhm.
different things like that. They've been doing equipment deals forever for juniors. So, they're not really having to do too much with that. And then the AJGA and some of these bigger tournaments, before college, there's different ways to where you're not out of pocket that much. I know Clanton, he's got a sponsorship deal with that mortgage company.
Yeah, the mortgage company's paying him.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, he's probably not really having to pay for anything over the over the summer while he's making this run. I'm sure entry fees and maybe lodging and everything's taken care of. So he was going to be traveling, playing other tournaments anyways. Might as well
Yeah.
Make a little bit of money and get this experience if you can afford it.
Well, I also didn't know this until like right now. He is the #1 ranked amateur in the world.
Yeah, I think the summer has helped. Yeah.
Yeah. Which that's kind of cool. I mean, goes up to #1 ranked, and he's now at the U.S. Amateur. Which
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we haven't really even talked about that or anything. Do you guys ever watch the USAM?
Not until like once they get into the last over the weekend, I might tune in, or towards the end of Sunday, just because it is pretty cool.
It's a massive
I really regret not focusing and getting out there last year to Cherry Hills. That was really dumb.
Oh yeah,
hand up accountability. Dumb on me, because that was long-haired Neil Shipley. And who was the other?
Nick Dunlap.
Yeah, they went
Shipley and Nick Dunlap going head to head. Like
head to head. I think 2 playoff holes or something.
Yeah,
and they're both like, as soon as they reach that point, they're like, we're like literally in all the majors next year. We have some exemptions coming. Like, we want to win, of course, but like Neil Shipley's like, yeah, dude, we're solid. Like, if we finish second, we finish second. We got a good future ahead of us, and he's playing pretty decent, I think.
Yeah.
As an amateur, is he still amateur? Or did he go pro?
No, he turned pro after.
Yeah, he went pro.
The Masters.
Yeah. I think he went to the 3M and the INSCO. I think.
Yeah. And you play Sunday round at the Masters with Tiger. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
There's people who would stab somebody to have that experience.
I'd go on a 12-year drug binge just to get that chance.
Some people
just for that one.
Yeah, just for that one.
But
so
yeah, I wish I would have went.
Today he actually won 4-3 against Dylan McDermott out of California. So kind of interesting to see that happen, which is, I mean, it's cool. The run that he could potentially go on in the USAM could be fun too.
Mm-hmm.
Just playing really good golf right now, and probably his confidence is just sky high, which helps obviously.
Through the roof. I mean, that course was absolutely insane that he played so well at the US Amateur or the US Open. So, and tomorrow he plays Jackson Buchanan out of Georgia at 9 a.m. So he's
Gordon Sargent lost today to a German guy named Tiger Christensen.
Tiger.
Sorry to interrupt. I felt like that was interrupting.
No, that's pertinent information right there. Interesting. Okay. That's kind of brutal.
That's crazy. Yeah. 4-3 it looks like.
Did anyone in your guys' area come close to making it to the USAM? I mean, I know, Teddy, we've talked about you trying to go through the qualification before, but anyone we know?
I
don't think. I mean, some Gator guys have gotten pretty far the last few years, but that's about it.
I'm looking at the leaderboard now. I thought what's his face was there, but it looks like not.
Oh yeah, Tiger. What's his face?
What's his face? Yeah. Tiger.
Tiger. What's his face?
So there's a local kid. Well, local as in he played all of his junior golf around here, and his coach is actually right around the corner from us. But Sam Renner, he actually, well, and I was talking about this with Teddy the other day about it, but he went to the PNGA, and everyone thought that points were going to happen from that, but
Mm.
you didn't get points for the USAM because it's not like anyone can play in it. Because on the West Coast, the PNGA is Oregon, Washington, Idaho.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and so but he went to the Oregon AM, and I think he got like third or something, so he missed out on that. Then went through the U.S. Open qualifying, and he got into the U.S. Open qualifying because of the PNGA placing that he got. So he got a spot in that, but then got fourth, and they only took the top 3 in the area. So this is crazy. I think he shot a 67 or a 68 at that course, and it's the course that I played that member guest at. So he shoots a 68 with an 8 on 17.
Good God.
So yeah, which is just a long par 4. So he
Just
quad.
they're playing a different game at that point.
It's crazy.
So
they know how to
crazy.
putt.
So Teddy, we do know somebody that was at the USAM that missed the cut on the stroke play portion. PJ from that.
Oh yeah.
He's going to Oklahoma, and then Colin Prater, who is local to Colorado, he won the Colorado Amateur Championship that I had for Eddie at. He also missed the cut. I was looking at the match play here. I'm like, where are these guys' names at? But I think it started right on Monday, so there's actually been a ton of golf already played. So
yeah, it's a super long week for all those guys.
Jackson Coyven missed the cut too, so he's been out early. He's the 3rd ranked amateur in the world.
Isn't it Colin Prater though? Didn't he get that spot at the U.S. Open? Like they did a whole like 2 or 3 minute TV spot on him, like being the. Yeah. Is he a teacher in Colorado?
He's a teacher down in Colorado Springs. He plays out of the Broadmoor.
Yeah. Okay.
Super nice guy. We were talking to him, in between.
I was gonna say, didn't you meet him at the Open or at the AM? Yep,
sure did. He just annihilated that course. By the way, it wasn't even close.
I want to know how some of these guys actually made it, because there's if you look at the bottom of stroke play, there's a couple guys that were 26
big numbers
or 23 over. Like there's a ton of guys that were 15, 14, 13.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those are huge numbers at that. And then to see like the top of the leaderboard, I mean, cut was it, even. And the top of the leaderboard being 10 under, like that's a 30, 36.
Well, that guy also went 9 under on the second round.
Oh, Jimmy Ellis did?
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching the USAM when Tiger won it. I thought that was like the coolest thing. I didn't realize the greatness that we were actually watching at that point, even though he won it 3 years in a row, which is kind of cool. But
how old were you then?
I don't know. Wasn't it 96 or 90? When did Tiger win it? Let's look this up. I don't know why you're.
You remember that?
Yeah, I remember on the, because wasn't it?
I don't remember anything like before 2000 at this point. 10 and up. That's when I remember stuff.
But I mean, I even remember watching him on some of the TV and some of the highlights of him with like the straw hat on.
I'm calling cap.
What? Look at the pictures. It's hilarious to see him in a straw hat back in the day.
Yeah. On the sawgrass hat, because it was a sawgrass hat. I think that's he had to buy like that day or somebody bought it. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna wear this.
What was his? I'm going through his entire timeline on his website, which is just absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was 96,
17 days old.
95, and 94.
Tiger takes his first golf swing.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I always forget you're older than us, Justin. You got a little years on us, so that makes sense now.
I'm old.
All right,
no
cap
hair?
detected. No cap detected.
And then he won the U.S. Junior 3 years in a row too, which I had no idea about that. Which which that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Tiger's pretty good at golf.
Who would have thought?
Teddy, well, let's backtrack here. The big topic of the Wyndham Championship was Matt Kuchar taking his leave of absence with essentially half a hole to play. How do you feel about that?
I think it was just comical how it all played out. There were different reports on, he didn't know that everybody was picking up.
Or everybody was going to finish.
Yeah, sorry. He thought everybody else was picking up. There's also reports that it was done on purpose to protest slow play and stuff like that. It was all kind of ridiculous. I think it sort of takes away from how big of a deal it was for me to pick the correct winner, and Aaron Rye, and me and Cooch I don't think there's anything, like, we're not coming back from this after what he did. So
Matt Kuchar, if you're listening, you have permanently severed your ties in relationship with TL2. So
correct.
I'm thinking Matt Kuchar's going to cry as he wipes his tears away with an extra $50,000 from making par on the 18th hole on a Monday. Yeah. But
I mean, he might.
He could be hurt by that, Teddy. So
Hard Rock did go ahead and pay out Sunday night. They did not wait for the conclusion of Matt Kuchar's round, so that was nice.
So I think this is a good segue to go over points of the Wyndham Championship, as Teddy alluded to.
Yeah, we can do that now. Yeah, we could do that now.
Now's the perfect time to highlight Teddy's.
Teddy's running away with it. Teddy got 4 points this week from the Wyndham. He picked the outright winner, dead on, Aaron Rye. That's a +3 right there.
Yeah.
And then you also had the cut line. So 4 points for Teddy.
4 under.
That brings him to 23 points.
I will say, I felt really good on Thursday morning when I made these picks. As soon as I heard there was a rain delay, so I made the picks. I knew there was going to be some weather. I didn't think it was going to be a delay, but so that did kind of come into play when I made these picks. Aaron Rye's just been really solid, especially on the.
No, he's played really
courses.
well. He's played really well this year lately.
So it kind of felt like it was his time, and then I just felt like with how wet it was going to be, they were going to push it back, so it wasn't going to be necessarily bad conditions. It was just going to be wet. They were not playing a super long course or anything like that, so I felt very good at 4 under as well for the cut line.
All right.
See, when I woke up and I heard that it was like delayed for 8 hours, and then I started looking at pictures, I'm like, hell yeah, Billy Horschel is going to be right there.
Yeah.
He knows how to play in the shittiest weather. And then I was like, oh, this is going to be sweet. They're not going to be able to score on this course because it's going to, there's going to be mud balls and all sorts of crap, So I was thinking 1 under was going to be all right.
Billy went -8 day one. He was an 8 under par.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was
I was pumped. I thought it was going to be great. I was like, oh, finally I had a good pick.
he ran out of steam, going in round 3 when he shot 71, which is funny. We say he ran out of steam because he's only one over. I think it's par 70, right?
Yeah.
So Bo Hostler came out of nowhere, out of the gate. He was on 59 watch for a bit there. And then just like Billy Horschel just fizzled out and couldn't keep that full head of steam, rolling.
Cam, I want to know how you felt about the Postman.
Yeah, I mean,
how do you feel about that pick?
Is that twice that you've picked him and he's just absolutely?
Yeah, he's missed the cut both times.
Yeah.
So you've cursed him officially.
I'm done picking JT Poston. He's added to the no pick list with Jordan Spieth. So, I got a point this week, though, for dead last, Tyson Alexander. He was the closest to the bottom. I honestly have never heard of Tyson Alexander until you picked him one week, Teddy. So I'm like, I'm just going to pick him.
Kind of fucked up, but all right.
It worked out well. I got a point. That being said, you have a 5-point lead on me.
Mhm.
You're at 23. I'm at 18, and Justin is at 12. So Teddy is making the gap a little insurmountable at this point. It really is going to depend on. It could come down to if I pick 2 dead-on winners in the playoffs, and you don't. But I think you've pretty much got the. It's done. It's done.
And I think we decided so the loser has to buy a new AC unit. Is that what it was? Is that what we decided?
I thought it was the losers have to buy the winner cookout for a week.
I mean, I'd be okay with that too.
We still haven't figured that out.
No, we haven't.
We've got 3
Justin and
tournaments
Cam.
to do it.
Yeah, looks like Justin and Cam are going to be splitting some sort of expense for Teddy.
Yeah. So the funny part too about your pick of Poston, my dead last, Zach Johnson, which apparently I roasted him on our Instagram post.
It was a little. It was
just.
I
more
mean, I'm
aggressive.
here for it. It was just It was a bit aggressive.
But Poston finished under Zach Johnson, so maybe I riled him up. Maybe he saw it. Maybe there was some influence in there.
He could have seen it. Somebody add Zach Johnson. Ask him if he saw Justin.
I'll reach out to Zach Johnson again. See, if he responds. But that that leads us into the FedEx at St. Jude,
first playoff event of 2024 golf season,
which was kind of the one thing that I took away from the Wyndham was that Victor Perez. We watched him in the Olympics, right? He played pretty damn well there. He had to make par on the 72nd hole to move from 71st to 70th, and he did. And Davis Riley bogeyed, and so Davis Riley he was bubble boy right there. So he was unable to make it.
The only time France has beat America is right there. Thanks a lot, Davis Riley.
Yeah, there's actually some interesting names like 65th, Brendan Todd. Then we go Seamus Powers, Nick Dunlap, which I would love to see Nick Dunlap go on a cool run. I like watching him play golf. Then you got Johnny Vegas. And then you've got the guy who just stays around, which I don't understand, Griot.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like a couple like Brendan Todd's the same thing. Like it's not like he's really played particularly well this year.
I mean, Johnny Vegas just won 2-3 weeks ago. If he doesn't do that, he's nowhere near this.
No.
Yeah, totally.
Well, that's why I was surprised he only got down to 68 after a win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that means he was real high in the rankings.
Yeah.
So
Teddy, in our pre-show meeting with Justin, we were trying to think of how far down do we go for picking a dark horse? Do we do 50 and worse? Does somebody ranked 50th in the FedEx Cup points or worse make a charge throughout these next 3 events to?
Since there is no cut, do we add a dark horse pick to this to see?
No, I mean I don't think you can go that high. It's probably.
I was thinking 25 to 30th.
Even that, dude. I think it's really going down to 1, maybe 2 guys.
Let's look at 25th right now is Aaron Rai.
Yeah. No.
Jason David behind him at 26.
No.
I mean, the last people that have won this, I mean, last year was who won it in 2023 was Lucas Glover.
Oh, no, this event.
Yeah, this event. Okay. So Glover won this event, and then it was Zalatoris, Tony Finau on that. I mean, he went on an epic run in 2021 with Rocket Mortgage and then this tournament, etc. I think it was DJ before that, and then it was Patrick Reed. So I mean,
we don't talk about those guys.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how far Lucas Glover was down. Because he won the tournament, got in, and then won this. I mean, he went on a cool run late in the season, but how low was he? Was he 50 to 60, something like that? Because there are some cool players that are in that.
I don't know. I'm going through the list. I don't think you could go outside top 20.
Okay, so outside top 20, you've got. I mean, not that he's
Just
gonna do
inside.
anything.
I like that 15 to 20 range.
Yeah.
I don't think they actually have a shot, but like that's probably as far up as you could go to.
It's kind of
Fleetwood
shocking
just-
seeing Justin Thomas as high as he is because he hasn't really played that great.
Well,
No,
yeah, totally.
but he played
Or-
good enough in a couple of majors.
Sure.
Or Wyndham
that
Clark. Wyndham Clark still has the 5th
I have-
ranking, which is
dude.
crazy.
I have no idea.
Like, how does
I
he
have no
stay up there? But he's played so bad. He's won one tournament, right? He won Pebble Beach.
Yeah, which seems forever ago.
But Teddy, going outside your like top 25, right? You've got Cam Young who played well, Tommy Fleetwood. Then you can jump all the way down. I mean, Max Homa, we all love him, but he's just not playing good. But
JT
you could-
Poston.
JT Postman.
Yeah. You
I
can
might
get
pick
like,
him again. Screw it.
I mean, Will Zalatoris is down there in 49th. You got Jake Knapp, Nick Taylor, but I mean, then you go all the way down to 64th, and that's Cam's favorite golfer of his entire life, who he actually had brunch with at the Waste Management.
We didn't have brunch. We just hung out for 9 holes.
I mean, Jordan Spieth is literally 64th. Like, he is so far down there.
Yeah, I don't see. I mean, the way everybody's playing right now, like, I think you got number 1, number 2, Rory at 3, maybe Colin at 4, maybe
Mm-hmm.
Ludwig. I like Thigala, Matsuyama, and then I mean Akshay. That's I like. There's not much else as far as like current form, and like all those other guys, like outside of top 20, like you're having to win
You're gonna have to win
Two-
2 events,
2 tournaments. You got to win the first 2.
which was a freak thing that happened last year with Hovland, who won the BMW,
Yeah.
then the Tour Championship.
So
Well,
yeah,
I mean, you
I
gotta,
also don't think anyone's going to chase down Scotty Scheffler with essentially he'll have a 2-stroke lead. Like I don't think there's any way he doesn't start at the 10 under par, number 1 in the FedEx Cup points. It's probably mathematically not even possible.
if Xander wins this tournament and Scotty gets outside of the top 10, he can get enough points to do it, I think.
is that verified?
I think that's
Should
what
we
it is.
crunch those numbers?
Somebody fact check JL here.
I know that like the winner of this event gets 2,000 FedEx Cup points, and that's what Xander's behind at this point. So there is a chance for it to happen. It's a very low chance. I mean, we would need Scotty to like fall from the grace of the golf gods,
Or like get arrested or something? Wouldn't that be crazy?
yeah,
If Xander gets arrested this time around,
yeah. So
Xander.
or Scotty again.
That's what I just said.
2 of them. Yeah, that's what. Just
Way
no
to pay
respect
attention
there.
No, I'm sorry. Punctuality is really important to me, so I just kind of stop listening when you talk. But anyways, how do we feel about the playoff kind of layout? Like how it's set up. We got 3 tournaments, right? Do we enjoy this setup? Do we want to see some tweaks? I personally like it when, say Saturday and Sunday going through this golf course and this round at Southwind, when they're like, yeah, this guy makes a birdie here, he's going to jump up to like into the bubble to make it to the next tournament. I kind of enjoy that insight, and I wish that we could get something like that throughout the entire season. I don't know how you would do something like that, right? But it just seems like with how Scotty's played, the race is kind of over already, it seems. A lot has to happen for him not to come out on top.
Yeah, I think the format is fine. I think it's just tough when you have somebody that's just been playing. And I mean, lately Xander as well. Like, but I mean, up until a month and a half ago, like Scotty just being head and shoulders above everybody else, it's kind of tough to keep up. with what's going on with the points and everything, just because it's almost a foregone conclusion that Scotty's going to win everything this year. So it kind of takes, some of the excitement out of it. It's still exciting to watch. But as far as those other storylines and everything, it's kind of tough to kind of fabricate that when it's just not even close. Luckily, Xander's just been playing some real good golf lately, so that helps. He can kind of challenge Scotty for it. That's going to make it, pretty exciting, at least these next two tournaments, to see if Xander can kind of close that gap a little bit more. But
don't you think that's like the storyline that's going to happen with this? I mean, they're all going to gravitate to it's going to be Scotty versus Xander because Xander had the gold medal in his hands, let it go at the Olympics, right? But I just looked it up too. Scotty is at 5,993 points and Xander is at 4,057. So if Xander won and Scotty fell out of some points, there's a chance this could be really tight.
Well, so there's something there. The key is Xander has to win.
Xander has to win. Yeah.
It's never been hard to win. Like,
well,
somebody named Lucas Glover could literally win this tournament.
Xander has to win and Scotty can't win.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be shocking if anybody, probably out of the top 5 wins the FedEx Cup, right? I mean, even then, Scotty's lead, it's going to be shocking if him or Xander aren't the one hosting up the trophy at the end of the playoffs.
Well, the crazy part too is you've got Scotty at almost 6,000. You've got Xander at 4, and then the drop off is huge. Rory's the next at 20.
Points.
Yeah, 2,500. Then it goes to Colin at 2,400. Then you got how the hell this happens. Wyndham is at 21, and then Ludwig's at 2. I mean, so you've got a whole bunch of players at that point. But
Pebble Beach was
signature
event, so there's more points. So that definitely is
totally. I mean, that's how he got his 2,000 points, but that's hilarious that he's literally at 2,154, and he got 2,000 of those from one event this year.
I mean, he's had 6 top 10s, which is outside of Xander and Scotty really good compared to the field. Xander has 12, Scotty has 14. So.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't get how he's up there too, because it's like every time I'm watching him, he's like, yeah, what is this guy doing?
Yeah.
So
we've got some picks to make to see how this rounds out between the three. My picks don't matter at all, but
don't say that.
Yeah,
you'll have to clean sweep 2 of the. You'll have to get the winner each round, each tournament.
Yeah,
and then you'll have to get at least 1 more each tournament. So you need to take 2 out of 3 with the winner being 1 for the next 3
possible.
What's that? What do they say in Angels in the Outfield? It could happen, right?
Yeah. And
for
especially
those listening on
since
Spotify, I'm flapping my wings right now. It could happen.
Since I didn't
they can hear it.
Since I didn't get any points last week, I pick last. Eddie, you pick first, and Cam second. So it's like I'm gonna have to.
Should we help him out since he's so far behind to let Justin pick first?
I mean, I feel pretty good about him not picking my winner.
Okay. For this,
I don't know who you're gonna pick though, Cam. So
we'll go Justin, Teddy, me.
Okay.
We'll do that. All right, Justin, you get the pity first pick here.
You going Scotty?
Just rolled it right off the tongue.
Yeah,
Teddy,
I'm not even questioning it this time. I'm not gonna make that mistake like I did the last time.
I'm gonna go Akshay.
What's the reasoning?
I don't know. I just think I got a good feeling.
It is kind of funny though, because you just said like, I don't think anyone's gonna win outside the top, 25, but you're giving someone that is what? Where's Akshay on this? Like,
he's 14, 15, yeah.
He has 1,600 points. Even if he wins this, he's just still miles.
No, I know, but he's 15th, which is pretty far down there to take a winner.
Well,
Yeah.
let's remember Lucas Glover won this tournament last year.
But
He's
I
also
also-
questioning the guy who's
Yeah,
leading
I was
this
gonna
whole
say
thing.
I also
Yeah.
can't say anything because I'm in last place and you're in first.
Stand down,
and-
Justin.
Yeah, clearly have zero ground to stand on this.
So my turn in the pool thing that I'm in, Teddy, with our avid listener Tim Hunt.
Yes.
With the playoffs, you pick 2 players.
Okay.
So for this tournament, I picked Xander,
Mm-hmm.
and then my next player was Ludwig, who is going to be my pick to win. Ludwig Aubert.
I was in between him and Akshay. So that's a good pick. I like that pick. Justin, I like your pick too. That's a good safe pick. It's just not the sexy pick.
Well, I've tried to do that in the past, and let's just be honest, I'm not sexy. So
Well,
not working.
you said it, not me.
He's not you and I, Teddy. You get what I'm saying? Look at this.
Yeah. There's not any Riz right there. I think I used
No
it.
Riz, no cap.
Remember, it's funny. I said you got to take 2. There is no third category. There's no cuts. It's just
Yeah.
Correct.
so. Justin, you got to clean sweep the 2 categories for the next 3 tournaments.
I know, and
Because
I've got to go DFL too, which is
Yeah, that's a tough one.
yeah. I mean, it's kind of just like a crapshoot. Like whoever, honestly, what it's going to turn out to be is whoever gets off to a bad enough start on Thursday and Friday to think they're out of it on the weekend that they just don't give a shit.
Or they know they're not going to make it to the next one. So
Yeah. So they're just going to be like, oh, yeah, this sucks. So, dang it. Just trying to. Well, we'll just go with. Oh yeah. We'll go with Griot. He's
Griot catching some strays.
he had some like last place finishes that were close, so I could see it happening again.
I'm not Cam. Do you know your dead last? Because I don't quite know mine yet.
I'm going Peter Malnati.
Malnati. You say that, and he strikes me as a guy that could win the St. Jude's. Not even joking.
Well, fingers crossed that he doesn't. So,
Well, now he is.
But like, if you look at the last few places, you're like, oh, Victor Perez. Why don't I just go with the worst place number? But he just played really well in the Olympics.
Yeah, these guys are going to be. They're fighting.
Yeah. Like it's not going to be someone right there, except it's like Brendan Todd because he's rolled over a long ass time ago. But
it's kind of who I was thinking of. It's between Brendan Todd. This is tough. It's also tough because like all these guys obviously are here for a reason, except for Wyndham Clark, and so like it just doesn't feel right to pick against them. I might. You know what? I'm gonna go with Gracerman. I think he had a big week last week, and I think
the hangover is going to get to him, huh?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of regret. You could go either way, where it's something to build off of, and he comes back and just goes lights out, or he's just mentally he's just got nothing this week and comes in last. So yeah, that's my pick.
Like my one that I was looking at that I thought would be kind of a fun DFL, but it could go either way, was actually Harris English.
I looked at him. I was also thinking about Victor Hovland. Almost picked him.
DFL?
Yep. We're going with sexy picks only this week.
That would have been awesome. I would have loved.
Unfortunately, I just don't think he's ever actually finished dead last, so it would have been a tough play to like.
yeah.
Is he going to be closer to being dead last than these other guys? I'm not sure.
Well, if I recall too, like he wasn't like necessarily, maybe not, but towards the top, Victor Hovland last year, he just when he won the BMW, he just took that momentum back into the Tour Championship. I don't think he was necessarily like top 3, was he, going into that?
I don't recall.
Don't remember at all.
Golf's
It was a long
just
time
fun.
ago.
Golf's just fun because like you could literally people will go shoot 9 under par, and then the next day they'll shoot 5 over par, and they're just like, what happened? And that could literally happen to quite anybody. So, so we got our DFLs. We've got our winners. Did we have anything else we need to bring to the table for the listeners?
Football's back.
It is. It is back. We're going to transition to a football podcast now for the listeners.
Yes.
I'm excited. You know, Chicago Bears fan.
I was going to say, how did you feel watching Caleb Williams?
Yeah. He made some really nice plays. That throw he made to the sideline on the run was an absolute missile. He looks very comfortable on a collapsing pocket, which wasn't necessarily what's happened the last few years with our quarterbacks.
Sure.
We paid him $25.5 million as a signing bonus, so he should perform. I'm excited about DeAndre Swift, too. That was a nice little add to the backfield. We have one of the best receiving corps, too, I think, that's going to show after this year. DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Rome Odunze, number 9 pick in the draft. So Ryan Poles set us up for success. We just got to hope that his players pan out,
I got a question for you guys being like fans. Do you think my team can actually sign Brandon Ayuk to a long-term contract?
I heard that he was practicing in Niners colors today. They might be close to a deal of some sort.
If they let him go, that is going to be such a big miss.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Like, they have so many other weapons too, though. So, like, you can't blame them. I mean, you only have so much money. But I think they're kind of realizing, like, it's a short window right now. So you got to just go for it.
I mean, you got Debo there, but Debo, like, gets hurt all
He
the
got
time,
banged up
too,
quite a bit last year. Yeah.
I mean, when you've got a guy who can play running back in the same way that he plays a wide receiver, I mean,
and also have the best running back.
Yeah, also
right next to him,
Christian McCaffrey, who can play wide
but
receiver.
It's like
in a sense.
he just got pummeled on a few of those hits, and it was like, dude, you are a wide receiver. Get your ass out of there, please.
Yeah, I have to imagine there's going to be a little less of that after last year's experience. I mean, Debo, he's not,
not
the young fried
anymore.
chicken he once was. Yeah, totally. These guys' shelf life in a football team is very short for the most part. I have a good friend who's a diehard Niners fan. I hope they don't play well just so he can stop talking.
Wow, I can't wait for this season.
The Bears play the Niners in Santa Clara this year. So,
I actually,
Teddy, you don't have allegiances, right, to an NFL team necessarily?
No, not really. I mean, I went to the Jags game, but it's not like I wasn't yelling Duval constantly like everybody else around me.
Just give it another game. You're going to be a true fan and a resident of the place you've lived. So.
I mean, I enjoy football. I like watching football. I like watching professional sports. I like watching football. I like watching basketball. And then for college, I mean, I like watching my Gators, but that's about it. But I can appreciate, quality talent. So yeah, in competitive games, it's kind of all that I'm rooting for both teams and for everybody to have fun and be safe.
Oh gosh. On that freaking note right there.
Yeah, I think we're wrapping it up after the safety call here.
Louise, freaking Teddy the unicorn over here.
So, all right, listeners, one last shout out. Please go like, subscribe, follow YouTube, Instagram, Spotify. We're Pitchmark Collective. You had the pleasure of listening to Teddy's beautiful voice today, even though he was late. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think about Teddy's tardiness, and we'll be talking to you next.
What is this?